Oh, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to Smack It Raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the number one wrestling podcast formerly on Pornhub, Smackin It Raw. This is Smackin It Down with Smackin It Raw, your Friday night SmackDown post show, and I am your host, the patron saint of podcast and Warden Matt Ritter. I'm here with my co-hosts this evening. He is Deadbeat Poppy. He is the reason that we are running roughly 4 minutes late. He is Daddy Delgado, the Sultan of Spitter Swallow, my friend Vince.
That is so, man.
And back again after a long time. I feel like it's been really long since we've had him here. The reason why we take bumps, not just the hardest part of the ring, but the hardest part for me in podcasting. He is Pretty Kyle, Pretty Bird, so many different lovely names that he hates.
Tweet. You know?
From the Apron Club, it's Kyle.
Hey, fellas, been too long, like you said. I'm
Way
glad
too long.
glad to make my debut on the quickie iteration of Smackin It Raw. It's kind of my style, anyways. So it feels right.
Rumor on the street was Katie heard you were going to be here and said, "Fuck it, I'm taking off." And then I also heard that you invited her to join us, for a special recording. And she said, she's like, "Nah, I can't do that either."
She said, and I quote, "Fuck you, you piece of shit. I'm not gonna do your bitch ass podcast. Suck my chode," is what Katie said. Felt very weird coming from her. It felt very out of character.
Very, very Katie.
Yeah. So whatever, big time in me. That's fine. I respect it.
Big time Katie.
That's what they call her.
But that is not what we are here to talk about. We are here to talk about SmackDown. We are here to be smacking it down. With Smackin It Raw. I have to work on Fridays. Well, you could always call it.
I told her to quit her job.
Yeah, that too.
She said no. So that's where I stand, I guess.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Before we get into the show, I have those things that I have to plug, like Twitch.tv/Creation World, where if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you have Prime Gaming. You take those two, you link them together, you get a free sub that you give to who? To me.
You?
Yeah, maybe me. Well, you can give it to Katie too. If more of you guys sub to Katie, then maybe she can quit her job and then she can be available to do podcasts with us. But since you guys aren't doing what we ask you to do, she still has to work a day job like the rest of us schmucks. Or you guys can give it to Rivet City Radio or any of your favorite Twitch streamers. Just don't let that free sub go to waste.
We hate to waste free subs.
We really do hate to waste free subs. You guys can also check us out at youtube.com/Creation World, where it is free to like, to subscribe, to comment. Vince, what does that do?
It helps boost the algorithm and help find new listeners.
All together now, why is that important?
Because you're
a classy lady. I mean, a whore. Sorry, I forgot what it was.
It works. It works because it's
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. I am a whore for your likes, for your comments, for your views, for your subscription, and mostly for your attention, which is why we do this every week. So please give us that attention. And now we're doing it 3 times a week.
Yes.
I've been trying to get my wife to do it 3 times a week. She said no, so I said, fuck it, I'll just podcast then.
It's the same.
It is. It really is. So you can catch us Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, 15 minutes after each show, Raw, NXT, or SmackDown goes off the air. And while you're here, there's a little bean up there. Notification bell. Flick that bean. Get notified every time we go live. Whether it's for all the shows I just mentioned, whenever we decide to drop a getting off, it's either going to be on Fridays or Sundays. I think the next one's probably going to be the 26th, but we'll see. And Creation Conversation every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 7:30 Eastern. And with all that said, I think We should get into the show. Katie's not here, but I did see Vince McMahon tweeted out that his court case for the SEC filings is getting settled. He's paying like an arbitrary like $1,300,000 and some change to WWE. There's a $400,000 fine that he has to pay, and he's like, "See, guys, it was nothing. It was just
Let's move on.
The civil assault case is still being tried. That's not done and over with. So this is just his, hey, I lied about where I put my money and lied about how much money I made when I was CEO of the company. So that got settled. But the other stuff, that's still up for debate.
That's old news. We don't talk about old stuff here.
He's a scumbag. Exactly. Anyone got any other news or rumors before we get into?
It's not news or rumors. It's more blasphemy. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Jeff Hardy apparently claimed that if he stayed clean and sober in his 20s and 30s, they would be bigger than John Cena, and I think that's just blasphemous. I know TC will disagree, but I really wanted to hear what Matt had to say about Jeffrey Nero Hardy saying that he'd be bigger than John Cena if he just stayed off the weed and other substances.
If Jeff Hardy had just stayed clean and sober, he wouldn't say dumb shit like this on the internet, but apparently he can't do that.
Yeah. He doesn't sound like he's clean and sober, currently making statements like that now.
Look, I love me some Jeff Hardy, but I just don't think he had the stability and longevity that Mr. Jonathan Cena had. And like I mean, Jeff Hardy reached high heights. I just, he wasn't the face of the company, like guy like Cena is.
Well, he reached high heights, and then he would just do a swan time off of it. That's why he never got too high off the ladder, the corporate ladder, so to speak.
His mesh T-shirts, ripping them off. What boy doesn't like that? I did.
Yes, boy.
Yes, boy.
I didn't like that.
Anyway, yes, that's all I had, Matt.
All right. So we kick off this episode of SmackDown with Paul Heyman wanting a little one-on-one time with Cody Rhodes. He wants to let him know that Roman plans on taking 30 men in preparation for all 10 inches. 29 men.
Hey, come on.
Sorry. They say 30 every time. But taking 29 men, in preparation to get all 10 inches of the American Nightmare in his title at WrestleMania. Then Kevin Owens is like, hey, listen, all this bullshit that Cody's been doing and this talk of like Roman getting titles and shaking hands with the Rocks, it's got me upsetty spaghetti, and I'm not okay with this. And Cody decides he wants to fist KO's face, so he runs into the crowd to do so. Jacob and Tama see this is a chance to double penetrate Paul Heyman. Jimmy is not about that. Jimmy decides to get DP'd himself instead and save Paul Heyman. Cody comes back, saves Jimmy. Jacob's in the back. Like a wildfire, he gets hit by LA Knight.
That's not very sensitive, Matthew.
All this leads to our main event, which we'll talk about later, which was Cody and Cody and Jimmy versus Jacob.
Oh, no, player.
Oh, what? Oh,
Teddy Long was behind me. Yeah. He said something. Okay. I don't know.
He said, hold on, player. Overall, including the main event that we'll talk about at the end, the thread through the show of the Cody, Jimmy, Jacob, Tama, Kevin Owens bullshit. Spit or swallow?
I'm gonna gargle it. It didn't really like Jacob Fatu was the standout of all of this for me. The match, the promo before the match, just his little Papa Shango gyrating he does. I love it. Everything else, it felt very like much like a stepping stone to just get to the Rumble. Even though they had like kind of a big spot to close the show, but it was just for me.
All right.
Yeah, more or less the same. I kind of give it a gargle just because aside from just like what like Kyle just said, Jacob Fatu just being the star of any segment that he's kind of in at the moment, It just kind of set up an impromptu tag team match to the main event of SmackDown, which again, might just prove Kevin Owens' points of a shitty friend and ally that Cody Rhodes is. He got distracted by one Kevin Owens and left Big Jim in the ring with Jacob and Sama and just got murdered. But it's getting the gargle because nothing too crazy happened. Nothing. Yes,
we do love on-site energy, though.
We do. However, you can't lose sight of the objective at hand, which is to win the tag team match.
But that completely defeats the purpose of on-site energy then.
I suppose.
Because it's on-site. If you see them, then it is on-site.
I don't know. Then I guess that's Jim's blunder, because Jimmy should have just been like, oh, no, Cody, fuck, I'm out of here. He should have bolted too. He should pretend like he had on-site energy for Kevin too and just like use that as an excuse to dip.
Yeah,
but the segments, everything leading up to the main event, it's just a bit of a gargle. It wasn't bad, it wasn't terrible, but it was just kind of there. It feels like something you do to set up for a house show tag team match, more so than anything too eventful.
See, I enjoyed it because, like I said, it thread throughout the night. I mean, even later on, we had an LA Knight US title match that also is where we kind of got the announcement for the tag team match in the main event. So, like, we started with it. And that rolled into a setup for the LA Knight match. And then during the LA Knight match, it's set up to actually make the main event. And I kind of like when they weave things throughout the show, beginning, middle, and end, to pay us off. So I'm going to swallow it. Also, Zoe, my daughter, was very excited when she woke up in the middle of the show. And I had told her that she missed Cody Rhodes. And then Cody Rhodes showed back up and wanted to fight.
There you go.
She's a huge Cody Rhodes fan.
I have a question. Were Cody's tights extra high tonight? Or am I crazy? They were like that Shawn Michaels meme where his tights are like up to his. Cody Rhodes' tights were a little hiked up. I don't know what the deal was, but that was just my analysis on the situation.
They were high-rising jeans. They're all the trend nowadays.
Yeah. Maybe he had a rough week. He ate kind of shitty. He's a little embarrassed about his body. He's trying to cover it up a little bit. He was feeling a little bloated and pudgy. Got to pack it in,
PMSing, maybe, perhaps.
It could be.
Yeah.
Speaking of PMSing.
Ivory was there?
Oh. Chelsea Green, and I'm the one PMSing because I wrote down Chelsea Green and her not-so-secret service. And then fucking commentary stole my joke before I got to say it on air, beat me to the punch, fuckers. But yeah, Chelsea and her not-so-secret service take on Michin, who twerked for America mid-match, ladies and gentlemen.
Long back attack. Let's get it, baby.
Michin, we salute you. Yes. Chelsea retains with a handful of ass, and then Piper smashes Michin after the match.
What was it? The ass she was grabbing? Was she a few digits deep, perhaps?
I listen. I only saw like 2 of 5 fingers.
I saw her get
bowling ball grip. Bowling ball
right.
Grip. Roll up.
Yeah,
famous bowling ball grip. Yes. Put a little English on it. Curve to the left a little bit. Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
For the 1, 2, 3, Michin, Chelsea Green, U.S. title. Spit or swallow.
I'll swallow. It was a solid match. Michin obviously was lined up to be that first number 1 contender for that U.S. championship. I did hear rumblings that it was originally supposed to take place at Saturday Night's Main Event Part 2. So it makes sense they kind of run it back. But maybe they just felt like they need to fill up these 3-hour SmackDown episodes. So they gave it to us here. It was solid. I wish they didn't have like a giant ad break in the middle of the match. But aside from that, it was all good. I like it. I like Mia Yim, and I like Chelsea Green.
Yeah, I'll give her a swallow as well. I was a big fan of the Secret Service. Piper Niven. I thought that was so dumb, but it made me laugh.
Sparkly. Secret Service.
Chelsea's great. Michin's great. What's not to love? Bowling ball grip. This is really everything I look for in wrestling. So I gotta swallow it.
I agree. No, I'm loving Chelsea Green. Like, we've talked about it a few times before, but when she left, WWE was released, and she came out and was like, she went on Twitter and all the ideas that she had of characters. Everyone was like, "Oh, you suck. You're fucking stupid. These are awful." Blah blah blah. then here she comes back, and she has been a fucking highlight since her return on the show. And I was so happy to see her win the U.S. title, and I love everything she's been doing. Also, her work with Piper, like from where they started, where Piper was just big angry girl that hung out with Chelsea, who was kind of annoying, to like them being best friends, and now the Secret Service shit. Like that evolution was great as well. Like everything she's been doing is fantastic. I love it. And Michin, great long back attack, fantastic. You know, it's work for America. Then we are backstage, and Motor City Machine Guns, the Mexican Werewolves, and Pretty Deadly are all very upset about tag team titles in DIY, and they're all arguing as to why they should get tag team titles. And then Waller and Theory show up, and they're like, hey, there's this guy that looks like a penis over on Smackdown or over on Raw, and that penis was a lot nicer to us than this dickhead. Maybe we should take advantage of what's going on here and go talk to him, because he was very welcoming and kind, and you're not. And Nick Aldis is like, how about you guys shut the fuck up? Werewolves, Pretty Deadly, match. Motor City Machine Guns, you guys said you're former tag team champions. Waller and Theory, same thing, right? Yeah, you two fight. All right, moving on. Werewolves versus Pretty Deadly with Paquete de Lobos getting the win.
Lobos, yes. I'm gonna swallow the tag match between Paquete de Lobos and Pretty Deadly, because yes, boy, CCC. Just really good wrestling, just solid. Building up that tag team division, which is actually pretty deep on SmackDown. They just didn't utilize them that much. And then A-Town Down Under, I'm just kind of over them. They've been teasing this will they, won't they break up feud with them between Theory and Waller so much that I don't really care at this point. And more City Machine Guns, you know, shout out to Jalen on the beat in the cafe. He was saying, it's like, so what's the Machine Guns gimmick? Is it that they're a tag team? And it just made me laugh, and ever since then I can't unsee it, because in WWE their gimmick is just like, yeah, we're tag teams. We're a tag team from the Motor City. We're a tag team from Detroit, and I just thought it was funny, and I couldn't unsee that. But that match, I'm gonna just give it like a slight swallow, even though, you know, I didn't really care too much about it. It was uneventful.
Yeah, it didn't have me full chubbed. I was at half mast though. I love Pretty Deadly. Love them as characters. I wish they were on TV more and more of a fixture, like in the tag title picture. But love seeing them on the screen. Love me some Garzas too. That finish that they have is so sick. That gorilla press into like a slam. It looks so good. Pants getting ripped off again. I mean, this was just pretty sexual all the way throughout. So I'll give it a swallow just for that.
It was the return of the pant rip breakaway, because Garza hadn't been doing it for like a while.
Right. I thought he was just gonna leave the pants on, and I was pretty upset. So I kind of popped when he ripped them off.
Oh, I popped too. More ways than one.
Come.
Yes. See.
Yeah.
See.
So I feel like Pretty Deadly could be doing more. Pretty Deadly, they're very entertaining. We've seen a lot more from them, and I feel like they could be utilized better than this like weird, we lied for DIY sort of to cause a problem so that maybe we could get a tag team title. I don't know. Like, they're much better characters. They could be doing way funnier skits and things like this. They could be utilized in a much better manner. The Werewolves are cool. Zoe was very concerned for the owies on their boobies. She wanted to know where they came from and what happened and if they were okay. So I did let her know that they are fine. So she was,
I love her concern for her fellow man.
Yeah. But like you guys said, like, it was a match. It was a tag match. It was a good tag match. It wasn't a great tag match. So I'll gargle.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like a pseudo tournament over the night. Yeah. It was like 4 teams. I wish they had framed it that way so I knew that there were stakes.
Yeah.
That's kind of my one nitpick, but
right.
Yeah, it was fine. It was solid.
Like if they'd been like, if you guys win, you'll face the winner of this match, and then those guys will go on to be number one contenders.
Right.
Maybe they just didn't want to overdo it because they had 2 tournaments recently for the inaugural women's championship. So maybe
2 tournaments, and this is like the second or the first of 3 tag matches tonight.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tim in the chat.
Oh, what's up, Tim?
Yeah, shout out to Tim. He's saying there's a lot of sexy on the screen. Loving the beard comb. The beard comb.
Yeah, comb.
I was saying combo.
Let's all get together and tangle our beards.
Well, I don't have one. I have more of a devilish chin.
Beard comb works too. There you go.
Oh man.
Next up, we talked about it a little bit. LA Knight competes for the second most important United States title on SmackDown, the men's title. Against Shinsuke Nakamura, like I said, Tama and Jacob come out. They're pissed off about the LA Knight, wildfire sideswipe earlier. Shin retains via DQ. Then Cody and Jimmy want to come down. They want to get tag teamed. Nick's like, all right, you guys want to get tag teamed? I'll let you get tag teamed. You get tag teamed in the main event. And that's set up for a main event. How do you guys feel about? I already know Vince's answer because we've talked about this extensively. Kyle, how do you feel about LA Knight right
now? Not as stoked as I was maybe a few months ago. I think he fits well in the U.S. title division. I think he's a great fixture there. He's a guy that's always going to give you a great promo. He's going to bring the energy. The crowd still loves him. The chanting. I think he fits well there. I don't really necessarily have a hunger for him to go any higher than that, but and he can go in the ring too. So yeah.
I don't know what happened, but same thing. A few months ago, if you would ask me, I was all about LA Knight, and something happened, and I'm not sure what it was with him, where my interest for him took a fucking nosedive.
Well, this feud with Shinsuke kind of sucks. That's one thing.
This happened way before Shinsuke.
What was he doing before Shinsuke? I don't even remember.
The Andrade stuff.
Santos. He was feuding with Santos, calling him a churro.
So I would say a couple of dud feuds.
Yeah, no, just a few dud feuds in a row that just really I didn't care anymore, and I still don't and I hate to say that because there was a point in time where I was a huge Shinsuke fan. Fucking loved Shinsuke. I'm still upset Shinsuke won the Rumble and didn't win at Mania and never held the WWE title. But now here I am, and he's got a new gimmick, and he's wearing samurai clothes, and he's doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, but why do I care? And I can't find an answer.
Yeah, Shinsuke, he was so much more sinister when it was implied, when he was feuding with Seth. It was kind of he was still Shinsuke Nakamura, he was the same guy, but his mannerisms and his motivations came out in his promos, and it's not now it's just so on the nose. I'll have black eye makeup. I'm a samurai. Oh, I'm a Hakushi Nakamura. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. Even though the match wasn't bad, the last I don't know 4 or 5 minutes were awesome. And it was definitely better than their Survivor Series match. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not super into Shinsuke right now. And yeah, LA Knight, like I said, LA Knight's just been in who gives a fuck feuds for too long now. And I don't think it's necessarily his fault, but who knows?
I mean, me personally, what's kind of leaned me into the boo LA Knight camp is the combination of both my wife and my younger sister just being he's just a catchphrase. He doesn't do anything. There's nothing interesting about him. None of his matches are something that you look forward to seeing, unless he's in a match with someone you really, really like. And then even then, you don't really even care about the match because he's involved in it. And plus, he made the churro comment to Santos Escobar, and I haven't given him any flag since. I'm screw you. A white man calling a Mexican man a churro or some kind of stuff like that, burrito, whatever. I ain't about it.
Never.
I ain't about it.
Do you not like churros?
I do. I don't like to be called a churro. We had this conversation with Matt when it first came up. I like churros. I don't like to be referred to as a churro.
That was actually I'm like, is your issue with the food or being called it? That was my question.
Yes.
Like, are you just not a fan of churros? Would you prefer like a taquito?
I love churros. I love churros. Churros are fantastic.
You do got more of a taquito energy now that Matt says it.
Ivan says, you want a churro. No papacito.
I got you, OPC.
Yes, the OPC is in the chat. Broadcast is in the chat. Thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate you. Our second tag team match of the night, Motor City Machine Guns versus Waller and Theory. You guys dig that a little bit better than you did the Werewolves and Pretty Deadly, or how are we feeling about my gimmick? Is I'm a tag team from Detroit.
I'm a tag team from Detroit. I like that as a gimmick. Eminem's made a career being a rapper from Detroit. Why not be a tag team from Detroit? Maybe they should somehow get Eminem to come out and rap their theme song. Maybe that'd be something they should try to maneuver.
It's WWE. The only person they're getting from Detroit is Kid Rock.
Or the guy who invented the Motor City Machine Guns, Kevin Nash.
Ooh.
Which I am currently in the midst of in my TNA watch through. That's Kevin Nash was like their manager. And that's when they were all. That's my problem watching current day Machine Guns, is that they used to be so charismatic, like so funny while still being good in the ring. And now they're just good in the ring. And it's still cool to see them in WWE, but that's going to wear off eventually. And they need to give me a little more something. Maybe a heel turn even. I don't know. They need something though.
I don't know. SmackDown can't turn all their tag team heels, because then you run the risk of not having a single babyface tag team. Because you did that with DIY. It looked like they were going to do that with Street Profits before DIY made the turn. And then you do that with the Machine Guns. Like, you got too many heel turns in the tag team division. And then you already have Pretty Deadly. And then you have Los Garza over there.
Los Garza's kind of betweeners right now. They're tweeners right now.
I'll say this, Matt. I didn't enjoy this one as much as the Garza Pretty Deadly one, because A, it liked Latino men, and B, it liked pants stripping. So maybe if Alex Shelley had ripped his pants off, I might have been like up there with this match. But no, I didn't like it as much. I'm just gonna give it a gargle because it was uneventful.
Yeah, pretty much the same. It was not too different as far as my enjoyment of the previous tag match, but I think I preferred Garza's Yes Boys a little more. But again, just another solid match, and something about Pretty Deadly not getting their back scratched by DIY. I don't know what the hell was going on after that, but Apollo Crews is there. There's a lot going on.
A lot going on. There was also a lot going on. Oh, you're muted, Vince. So
can we talk about Apollo Crews?
Just Joe Apollo Crews? Anybody know that reference?
Yeah.
I didn't get it. My fault. But can we talk about how Apollo Crews lately, his gimmick has been instigator in the backstage area on SmackDown? He comes in and he's over here talking to Adam Pearce. He's talking to Street Profits, talking to everyone. And then this week to Pretty Deadly. Like, his gimmick right now is I'm just going to chill in the back and start instigating shit. So I'm going to swallow Apollo Crews because I love it.
I would pay to watch you swallow Apollo Crews.
Hey, take a lot of talent.
That's paid content.
I said I'd pay for it. Literally said that. But a lot of shit was going on in our next segment because Tiffany is out there and she shows us that a leopard doesn't change her panties or whatever that saying is. She's still the same spoiled brat that we've always loved. Naya is pissed and looking for some non-consensual belt swapping. Bailey and Naomi both want title shots as well and think that they deserve them. Naya gets really disrespectful and beats down both the tag team champions. We end up getting a balls out brawl out that leads to a 4-woman number 1 contenders fuck fest with Bailey topping the 3 other women to win the match. The third woman being Bianca Belair. So now Bailey is the number 1 contender for Tiffany's newly won WWE Women's Championship. Spit or swallow?
I'll swallow it. This is probably my match of the night. I would say right here. It's good stuff. There's a lot of dynamics at play. The Bailey, Bianca, like how their dynamic is going, and then Bianca accidentally whipping Naomi with her hair, and Candice is there, and Bailey gets. I mean, there's a lot going on, and Tiffany felt like a star, hitting that prettiest moonsault ever onto every single person. Which is pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like this. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna swallow it too. I like Kyle said, I agree. I think it was my match of the night. They went out there and killed it. I went into this match thinking that Bailey was gonna eat the pin, and that Nia was gonna get the championship match because it makes all the sense in the world to just run back Nia versus Tiffany Straton. You know, like well, not run it back, but like do the match because you've been teasing it and. You know, this time around, you know, I got surprised. It was Bailey that actually picked the win, the one that I least thought would win this match. And then we're getting the victory. Kudos to her. Obviously, the match is set up for next week, which I think it's weird. Why not do it at main events? But
that's probably where we'll get the Nia match.
Maybe, but
or
that's
Rumble.
in 2 weeks. Yeah, so or Rumble. Yeah. You got 2 events to build up for. But yeah, Bailey getting a title match. This feels like her farewell match, maybe because you know transfer window is open and no one's closed it yet, and so we still don't know where people are going to end up. So Bailey Bailey was over on Raw on Netflix, looking fantastic, by the way. So she could be moving on over to Raw, and this could be a way for her to put over Tiffany Straton on her way out the door or out the window, so to speak.
This has nothing to do with Bailey, but Kyle did. Does anyone else notice that The Rock doesn't do the tongue anymore, and it bugs the shit out of me? He doesn't smell anymore. He just smells, and it's not as fun. Like
maybe he can't. Maybe he lost his tongue muscles, his tongue dexterity.
For a while there, he couldn't even do the brow properly.
Dude, I'm so sad. Like. He used to be like, watch the tongue, and they'd flick the tongue, and we'd watch the tongue, and we'd all cheer for the tongue. And now his tongue game has gone from like top tier to no tongue game whatsoever.
Let's get this trending. Bring back the tongue, Rock.
Bring back the tongue, Rock.
Tongue twirling.
Last but not least, we basically already talked about it. Tag team match in the main event: Cody and Jimmy versus Jacob and Tama. KO comes out, on-site energy. Cody runs off. Jimmy gets DP'd. He loses. Then Cody and KO are brawling backstage. They come out stage left. They hug. They cuddle. They fall through a table. Spit or swallow?
You go first, Vicente.
Oh, thank you. Gracias. I'm gonna take steps. So I'm gonna swallow Jacob and Tama Tonga. They look fantastic. They look great. They don't look like they even need Solo, which is a conversation we didn't even talk about, and we'll get to it. But they look fantastic. The match was what it was. Maybe it's because Cody is like trying to multitask here, and I'm not really a fan of it. I want him to just kind of get this Kevin Owens stuff out of the way already. I'm kind of over it. What's the word I'm looking for? As surprisingly as that may be, I'm not feeling Kevin versus Cody anymore. I want them to unify these titles, get rid of it, and I want Randy to come back and RKO the fuck out of Kevin Owens because that's really what I really want to see. And I need Cody to transfer over to something else. Jimmy needs some help, and maybe it's going to come in the form of LA Knights. But yeah, swallowing the match, it was solid. And I'm going to swallow them going to the table because, you know, we love a good table spot.
It was okay. I mean, the match was pretty paint by numbers. It was pretty, you kind of knew exactly what it was going to be before it even started. The highlight, honestly, was anytime Jacob Fatu was on screen was a highlight for me. And table spot was fine, whatever. It was kind of, the tables were set up conveniently there. You kind of saw it coming. I thought Joe Tessa's call on it was kind of weird. Like, I like Joe Tessitore.
Yeah.
Tessitore, whatever his name is. But these guys go crashing through a table off of a big structure. And Joe's like, well, now Kevin Owens he's really showed Cody. Like, the way, show some emotion, Joey. You know what I'm saying? A little bit.
By God, they broke the tables in half.
That man has a family. Joe's like, well, by golly, those tables sure are broken. Well, anyways, next week, folks. Like, I don't know. But yeah, it's a gargle. It's like I'm gargling it, but some of it gets down my throat and I'm okay with it, but it's mostly gargled. Maybe I spit a little bit out, gets down my chin through my beard.
Okay. I like that. It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
By the way, hi JJ, thanks for joining us. Final thoughts on SmackDown before we get out of here?
Thoughts on Solo, actually. That's what I was going to ask. It's like thoughts on Solo coming back next week. Where do you think that's going to go? Because my mentality is that he's probably going to come back and he's going to get murked by Jacob Fatu. And then it's going to eventually just be more sympathetic to Roman, being like, damn, it's not easy to lose the Ula Fala and no longer be Tribal Chief. And so, like, he's like, damn, I have more respect for Roman. I was kind of a dick. You know, he took time off. And then he took time off, too. He took a week off after he took that L. So
maybe I think we do get Jacob Fatu and Solo at WrestleMania. I think we slowly build to that because Jacob he did do the "I love you" Solo like during the match.
Yeah,
so he's still siding with Solo, but I think maybe his appearance next week, Solos will plant some seeds. Perhaps I'm almost wondering like does LA Knight fit into this because obviously they have beef. Does Solo go for the U.S. title? I guess he's not the U.S. champion, but still, I guess he can still enter the picture.
The fray, yeah. I mean, let me ask you this now, Kyle. Is the I love you Solo really for Solo or more to pop the crowd now? Because it's more of a Jacob chant than it is a Solo chant.
Right. He could say, I hate you, Solo, or I am somewhat indifferent on you, Solo, or something like to meet how he feels about it. He can still do the thing. Just change words.
Yeah.
So, don't know.
Well, it's about Tiffy time. Which means it's time for us to get out of here. Kyle, thank you for joining us. Please tell everyone about the apron bump, the episode that you have out this week, what's coming next week, where they can find you.
Well, appreciate you boys having me once again. Always a pleasure. But yeah, if you like retro wrestling or just wrestling in general, check out the Apron Bump podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTube. Mostly do retro wrestling, which I've had these boys on a few times. We'll have them on soon in the future as well. So go check out those episodes, if nothing else. But my latest episode was actually talking about WrestleMania 41 predictions. So a rare episode on the current product. And up this coming Wednesday will be a little Royal Rumble 2004 where nobody won the Rumble. It was crazy. It was great. Actually, Spike Dudley won the Rumble, but that's just a bit of foreshadowing. But yeah, so check that out. All sorts of timelines, all sorts of companies, big and small, across 4 different decades. So if you like a little buffet in your podcast consumption, go check it out and eat me up and spit me out and call me a little bitch and spit on me. So yeah.
Shout out Spike Dudley.
Shout out.
Spit on me and call me a little bitch is shout out Spike Dudley.
No, I mean both those things apply to the situation. Yeah. I mean, I guess Spike probably likes that kind of stuff. He probably gets really weird in the bedroom, Spike Dudley.
Listen, that Cruiserweight heel title run makes me feel like that's exactly who he is in the bedroom.
The boss?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Vince, why don't you tell us who you are in the bedroom and where they can find you?
Yes, follow me on social media at SESVince, whether that's Blue Sky, Instagram, or the TikTok. Check out the 606 on YouTube at 606 Universe. Search that out. Spell out the first 6. All the countdown content videos that I have will be over there.
And if you guys are watching the show, you already know where to find me, but you can find me on all social media at Smackin It Raw, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky. Yeah, I think
Reddit? Do you have a Reddit?
No, I don't have. Well, I do, but no, I don't.
Lobster Tube?
Lobster Tube.
Not anymore. You used to be able to find us on Lobster Tube, and then we got shut down on Pornhub, and Travis still hasn't found us a new porn site to make our home.
Hamster, maybe? Hamster.
I would check out Lobster Tube. It doesn't seem like there's any restrictions there.
So the problem with Lobster Tube is Lobster Tube just pulls from all the other websites. It's not a hosting website. It's like kind of like Porn Google, right?
Yes.
It just gives you access to everywhere else. So I don't know if you can actually post directly to Lobster Tube, but it is my favorite place to go. That is my favorite porn search engine.
Right.
No longer Pornhub.
It hasn't been Pornhub for a long time. I've been a Lobster Tube guy for a while because you can get Pornhub and everything else on Lobster Tube. They got all of it.
I can't. I'm in Virginia, so
that sucks.
Yeah. Thank God for VPNs.
For the pornless Pretty Kyle and
I'm full of cum.
my friend
Sorry.
Steve. I am the patron saint of podcast and Warden Matt Ritter. This has been the #1 wrestling podcast formerly on Pornhub.
Get yourself a VPN.